Good evening, Malli. Welcome to another Branches lecture. I'm Tharin Chandrasekara, and today I will be conducting the lecture along with Nethwin Dharmaratne and Sehath Perera. So, Malli, we are senior committee members of your club, Wilderness and Wildlife Protection Society, and today we will be talking about tuskers.
Good evening, Malli. I'm Nethwin Dharmaratne. Again, Tharin and I, along with Sehath, will be doing the lecture for you all. With that being said, hope you all enjoy the lecture and learn something. So let's start. This is the contents, and yeah, let's start with the definition. Sehath.
Good evening, Malli. Okay, Malli. So, animal that possesses large tusk is known as a tusker. Okay, so how many of you all knew tusker? Sorry. So, how many of you all knew that there are tuskers other than elephants?
Yes, somebody raised his hand. You may speak. So, Malli, please do answer the question. If you all don't know, just say you all don't know. I'm guessing.
Can you tell the question again?
Yeah. How many of you all knew that? Yeah. Sehath.
How many of you all knew that there are tuskers other than elephants?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Could you please name the other animals who classify as tuskers, please?
The baby rusa.
No, Mal. Actually, upon our own research, we found out that we also didn't know this. This was a new learning to us also. So tuskers, actually there are tusker elephants, the most famous. Then you have tusker warthogs and tusker wild boar. Those are the main three animals that classify as tuskers. So Malli, we'll move on to the physical characteristics of tusker elephants. Malli, as you all can see in the screen, the two types of elephants, the Asian elephant, the African elephant. You all can clearly see the size difference here. The African elephant is much larger. And if we compare and contrast, we can see the African elephant's back dips while there's a tall arch in the back of the Asian elephant. The ears do not cover the shoulder of the Asian elephant, whereas the ears cover the shoulder in the African elephant. And obviously the size different. Again, forehead has two humps in the Asian elephant. Forehead curves smoothly in the African elephant. Those are the main points. Yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the next slide. Sorry.
Okay, so boys, when talking about warthogs, the tusk of warthogs is formed by the upper and the lower canine teeth, and also they possess two upper incisors and 4 to 6 lower incisors. The maximum length of the tusk would be around 25 centimeters to 30 centimeters, and the upper tusk grow longer than the lower, and it curves. It goes up from the snout and curves inside, but the lower tusk is straight and it looks like something like a blade, and the edges are really sharp. And the snout or the nose of the warthog is really broad, and they rarely use it to dig food. And also they have little fur except for the mane that goes down the spine to the middle of their back. Sehath.
Okay, Malli, let's talk about physical characteristics of wild boars. They are covered by grayish, brownish, or blackish hair and coarse bristles. Wild pigs have tusked, straight tails, elongated snouts, and erect ears. when we compared with normal pigs, these wild pigs have little body hair, floppy ears, a spiraling tail, and small or no tusk. Wild pigs have a strong sense of smell but not very good eyesight. Nethwin?
Yeah, Mali, so no questions, right? As of now. Also, Mali, before we move on, if you all have any new information you all could share with us also, please do. There's everybody can learn from that. And if you all are afraid to ask a question, type it in the chat box. We'll still answer the question. Ask Sinhala, ask from Sinhala English. It doesn't matter. And please do share information if you all have extra knowledge for everybody. So, Mali, we'll talk about the importance of tusks. So, Mali, first, we'll be focusing on the elephant tusks here. So, first of all, Mali, you all should know the basics like what are tusks. So, elephant tusks are actually teeth. They are elongated incisors. We have incisors too. They are the front teeth we have. We use it for biting food. In elephants, these incisors continue to grow throughout their lives, extending from the deep within their upper jaw. The tusks are one of the most noticeable features of an elephant, along with their body size and the long trunk. So they sometimes use the tusks to rest their long trunk, but in generally speaking, the importance here is they use these tusks for fighting and to intimidate rivals and to impress females. So the longer the tusk, the more chance you get to mate. Yeah, let's move on. Tharin.
So when talking about the behavior of tuskers, we mainly focus on tusker elephants. As you all know, tusker elephants are usually peaceful animals. However, females may be aggressive when the young calves are present. And also, elephants may get aggressive when injured or harassed by others. And they may look towards the threat, spreading their ears out, standing tall, and they raise their head and tusk high, also shaking their head and the trunk. They face the threat, or they get ready to face the threat. That's all about behavior of tusker elephants. Let's move on.
Tharuka Dias has asked the question, are wild boar endangered? Mali, they are not. They are not endangered at all. Also, Mali, please, if you're typing a question, please type it so that everyone can see. Don't private message us, because then only I can see the questions. Because if you type it in the chat box where everyone can see, one of your batchmates also can put the answer there. So, and they'll also know what the question is. So please, please do when typing a question, please do type it so that everyone can see. Yeah. Let's move on to the diet of the.
Now I'm going to talk about the diet of tusker elephants. Elephants eat roots, grasses, fruit, and bark. An adult elephant can consume up to 300 pounds of food in a single day. These hungry animals do not sleep much, roaming great distances while foraging for the large quantities for food what they require to sustain their massive bodies. Nethwin?
Yeah. Talking about the tusker wild boar's diet, the majority of their diet is made up of roots, bulbs, seeds, nuts, and green plants. But wild boars, Mali, are opportunistic eaters. So if they come across something like a bird egg, a small bird, earthworm, or invertebrates, they'll even feast on that. Any questions? Mali, if you all have any questions, please raise a hand, unmute or ask. Because so far, every branches lecture we have done, a lot of questions have been asked. And that way, it makes it more interesting and yeah, it makes it more interesting and interactive. Yeah, Nikhil De Silva and Rahel De Silva both have raised the hand. Can you all please unmute and ask?
Yeah, it's just Nikhil asking the question.
Okay.
When you will a wild boar like fight another animal to get the food, or will he just avoid that if it's
Mildly, so I'm not really sure, but as far as I know, they won't generally fight with another animal to in order to get the food. I mean, if the animal is very desperate, only I think they'll go into fighting another animal. Other than that, I think it's not. We'll confirm that later on. If we forget, please do unmute and ask at the end of the lecture again. We'll search it up and find it out. Good question, Mal. So yeah, let's move on to the diet of the warthog.
Okay, guys. When talking about warthogs, another reason warthogs are doing so well in their varied reason warthogs are doing well is their varied diet. They are opportunistic feeders, which means they eat a variety of food depending on what is available. Their main diet consists of grass, roots, buds, and berries. And roots and buds are an especially big part of their diet in the dry season when grass doesn't grow as well. Warthogs have tough noses, and they use these and their front hoofs to dig around in the dirt to find food. To reach the ground, they kneel on their front knees. This also helps them to reach the shorter grass. However, if plant food is scarce, as it often is in the dry season, warthogs make the best of what's around. They will scavenge dead animals and even eat the dung of herbivores. Truly, so they are an adaptable animal, the warthogs.
Yeah, Mali, as you all can see in the slide, you can see the warthogs kneeling down, right? So that's like a special feature, as Tharin mentioned. To reach out small roots and small grass, they kneel down so that they can reach it. And wait, Citru Di Costa has a question. Yeah, you may ask.
So, since in Sri Lanka, elephants are being hunted, I was going to ask my question. My question is about in which side can you see most elephants? Is it in the dry zone or wet zone? Since by my knowledge, they kill more elephants in the dry zone. Is that true, Aya?
Yes, Mali. Your fact is true, but in Sri Lanka, Mali, elephants, they don't have a specific habitat. Like we'll get onto that topic in a while. We actually have that. But so just so you asked now, in Sri Lanka, most elephants do not have a specific habitat. They roam around a lot. But yeah, they are mostly killed in the dry zone area. Good question.
Thank you very much, Aya.
Good questions like that. Also, before we move on, I have a question. Tharuka Dias again has asked, do wild boars eat all the food they see? Maldi, so they, as we mentioned before, they are opportunistic eaters. So if they see the food they can eat, they will eat. Other than the normal roots and all, if they see, like we said, if they see a worm, a bird's egg, they'll prey on it. And another Maldi named Kavindra has asked, so why humans are afraid of wild boars? They don't harm humans, right? Mali, so generally every human is afraid of wild animals because they are wild. They are not domestic, right? So yeah, and if we startle them, they obviously will to protect the animal. So if you are a wild boar, you protect yourself. If a human startles you, you will attack somehow. You will charge it, right? So yeah, that's all the question. Once again, Mali, I'm telling again, please, when typing in chat box, please type the message so that everyone can see. Don't private message me. Other than that, no more questions. I think we can move on. Good question again, Six. Yeah. So we have habitat of tusk elephants. African elephants live in diverse habitats, including wetlands, forests, grasslands, savannas, deserts across 37 countries in southern, eastern, western, and central Africa. The Asian elephant is found across 13 countries in South, Southeast, and East Asia. So, Mali, as you all can see here, the African elephant, they mark perfectly southern, eastern, western, central Africa. But Asian elephants, you haven't labeled it properly. That means they don't have a very specific habitat. They'll roam around everywhere. Many doubts so far? I think we can move on. Shall we move on then?
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. Again, since
So
first
when
has raised the hand. Hold on,
Yeah,
Tharin.
yeah. And after
Yes,
that, when you came to the habitat, I got another question in mind. So
Yeah.
once I like joined to this junior YZD meeting, and they said there were African elephants found in 2012. There was African elephants found in Yala National Park. So I'm just asking, can African wild elephant live in Asia, which is more cold and hard to live since they're big, and isn't their habitat a little different when it comes to the savannas and the heat?
Maldi, that's a good question. First of all, that's a unique fact. Like we actually don't know the proper answer for that. I'm guessing since apparently they have seen African elephants living in Yala, obviously they can live in Asian climates as well. But I'm guessing it's very
Mali, but
hard for them to, like, properly live the way they want because of the climate.
I asked that question since they say
Yeah.
they found another one in 2013, and they say he was hardly very wounded, and because of the heat, his ears are peeling out. So they had to medicate him for 2 months, and then they released him again. So I'm asking, if they come to like Sri Lanka, is it healthy enough to say for a African elephant to live in Sri Lanka, since it's all of this heat and savannas and their habitat and the killing of hunters from Sri Lanka?
So Mali, as you mentioned also, by your own explanations, you can get the answer, right? So because let me ask you this. So Mali, anyone and everyone will feel uncomfortable when they are not in the suitable climate, right? In their suitable habitat, right? So according to your explanation also, according to your explanations also, Maldi, as you mentioned, the elephant's ears have been wounded. The elephant has been badly wounded. So I'm guessing it's not healthy for African elephants to live in Asia because of the climate. Good question. Good question. Very good question. Maldi, we want all of you all to ask questions like this as it makes the session much more interactive and interesting. Yeah. Also, Maldi, again, I won't be answering all the questions that I get via private messages. This is the third time I'm saying. Again, I'm saying like, please do type it so that everyone can see. For example, I think a Maldi call Oshan H has asked me a question: how many legs do elephants have? It's 4 legs. Okay, and please, it doesn't matter what the question is, Malli. You can ask it. Nobody will judge you here. Okay, so don't be afraid. Ask whatever you all want regarding to the topic, but make sure that everyone can see. Yeah, let's move on then.
okay, boys, let's move on then. So when talking about habitat of warthogs, there are mainly two types of warthogs. There are warthog and the desert warthog. Geographical range is the main way the two species of warthog differ. The common warthog can be found South Africa. However, it is not as live in extreme dry areas. The desert warthog prefers and is mostly found in Kenya and Somalia. Both species prefer the savanna and grassland habitats. They also live in open woodland and scrublands, which are habitat with small trees spaced relatively far apart. So warthogs do not live in heavy forest areas. They usually live near water, but in the dry season, this is always not possible because during the dry season the water sources are not prominent. So, but the warthogs can go months without drinking water. So this adaptation perfectly suits the warthogs to live. So that's all about the habitat of warthogs. Do you all have any questions about warthogs? The habitat of warthogs.
Yes, again, Tarukadas has asked, in which country does tusk elephants live the most? Citru has answered it again, very good. See, Mali, that's why I told you to put the question so that everyone can see, because your friends can also answer the question. It's nice to know. And yeah, let's move on then. No questions, right?
Yeah, is that all tuskers are mammals?
Yeah. As far as I know, yeah. Warthogs are mammals. Elephants are mammals. Wild boars are mammals, I think. We'll put the answer on the chat box. Sehath, would you mind looking that up and putting the answer on the chat box? Yeah. Let's move on. No more questions, right? See through Picosta again. I think you have raised your hand. You have a question or
No, sorry, I haven't lowered my hand. So sorry,
no problem? No problem. Let's move on.
Okay, Mali, I'll explain about the habitat of wild boar. Wild boar live in a wide range of habitats, all of which usually includes a water source and thick bush for protection from predators. They live in scrublands, grasslands, wetlands, rainforests, temperate forests, and savannas. Mali, do you all have any questions?
Only you all can ask whatever language, okay? English, Sinhala, Tamil will be a bit hard. So try and ask from English and Sinhala.
Aya, can I ask a question again?
Yeah.
Aya, so in Sri Lanka, when it comes to wild boars, where can you see wild boars most, in wet or dry land? Since with my personal experience, like always, sometimes I see wild boars in Yala.
Yeah, Mali. So yeah, mostly you can see it in Yala, but then also Mali, you can see wild boars all across the country. But mostly, I think Yala or northern regions, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is where you can see.
You're correct, Aya.
Yeah, I am also pretty sure. Good questions, Mali. Please do ask questions like this. It's very informative. Other than that, I don't think any more questions are there. Let's move on.
Okay, so when talking about threats for elephants, the tusker elephants, today the greatest threat to African elephant is wildlife crime, primarily poaching for the illegal ivory trade, while the greatest threat for Asian elephant is habitat loss, which result in human-elephant conflict. As I said, Maldi, poaching for the ivory trade is the biggest threat to an African elephant. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, uh, wait, a study conducted by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 2014 has found that an African elephants are being poached at a rate faster than they can reproduce. At its peak in 2011, 40,000 elephants were poached in Africa within a single year. In 2011, 40,000 elephants has been poached. Currently, the African elephant population is about 415,000, a decline more than 100,000 since 2007. That's a decline more than 100,000 since 2007. Any questions about it, Malik?
No, but in the chat box, they have asked a good question. I think Rikira has answered along with Chitru. Very good. So yeah, I just saw this question saying, do the wild boars who live in cold climates go into hibernation? Yes, they do in the winter because they can't handle it very well. They go into hibernation.
Just like bears,
Yeah, just like bears. Very good. So Mali, as Tharin mentioned here, and this is very sad. It's a very sad state here because, as Tharin mentioned here, elephants are. Yeah.
Yes, Malik.
Since like in elephant poaching, since Africa, I'm not sure if I'm correct. That's why I'm asking this question. When it comes to elephant poaching from the African continent, mostly elephant poaching is happening in Kenya because of the black market, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. See, Mali. So as I was saying, as Tharin also said here, the elephants are being poached more than they reproduce. So you can see how rapidly elephant deaths are occurring, right? And we humans do it for what? For ivory bangles, necklaces, and all those materialistic stuff. It's very inhumane, right? So yeah, that's a huge sad fact there. Hopefully the world will change and this conflict will reduce. Yeah, let's move on to the threats of warthogs. Yeah.
Talk about threats of warthogs. The most common predators of the warthog are lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas, and crocodiles. Eagles can also pose a threat to babies. Since many of these animals are nocturnal hunters, these animals go out to forage during the day and return to the safety of their burrows at night. Humans also threaten the warthog population due to overcrowding and overhunting.
So Mali, again here we can see for warthogs as well, humans overhunt, and yeah, that's also very sad when we can clearly reduce. No more questions. Any questions, Mali? Sehath has raised the hand.
Is there any tuskers living in water?
Living in?
Water?
Mali, we can't hear you properly.
Yeah, he's asking, is there any tuskers living in water? Like they go from land to water? That is true, right?
Yeah, they do. They do, but they don't live in water. They are mainly terrestrial, like they live on land. But they do live in water sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. Hope you got your answer. Yeah, I can see the questions are increasing. Very good. Yeah, let's keep on moving. So Mali, here the threats for the wild boar. The grey wolf is the main predator for the wild boar throughout most of its range. A single wolf can kill around 50 to 80 boars of differing ages in 1 year. Wolves are particularly threatening during the winter when deep snow impedes the boar's movements. In the Baltic regions, heavy snowfall can allow wolves to eliminate boars from an area almost completely. Boars of all ages were once primary prey of tigers. Also, Mali, see here, one Mali asked previously, right? Are wild boars endangered? No, they are not. One fact is because people rarely hunt for wild boars. we can see here there's no little to no human threat to them. So that's why they still live in large numbers. So that's one positive fact here. Other than that, wait, there's a question. What does the lions have? Tusks or fangs? They do not have tusks, and I'm sure they don't have fangs as well. I don't think you call them fangs, right? You call them canines, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so to answer your question, the lion does not have tusks or fangs, they have teeth. That's still a good question. Yeah, canines, exactly. Thank you, Ridhira, for confirming that. Yeah, let's move on. So Mali, here, how we can protect the tuskers. So Mali, here we'll be focusing on super tuskers. Have you all heard about super tuskers? Has any one of you? Did you all know that a thing called super tusker, an animal, a subgroup? Please do answer. Yes or no?
Just a guess, elephants?
Yeah, super tuskers are tuskers.
Aren't the super tuskers the ones that are a little bit long and tall and brownish?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are actually
They're
genetically
actually old ones, man.
old,
The
bigger,
ancient
their tusks are longer, and as Sitru mentioned, a bit brown as well. Mali, there are only 25 to 30 super tuskers remaining, okay, in the wild. So it's really hard to spot. This is also due to poaching. So protecting the last remaining super tuskers is a difficult task. They roam far and wide across the Savo conservation area and require constant protection due to poaching, as we mentioned. Super tusker conservation requires a coordinated aerial and ground team and a constantly updating and evolving map of sightings and tracks. The aim of the game is to stay ahead of the poachers. So, Mali, here in Africa, for example, they have assembled anti-poaching units, and here they constantly keep track of the super tuskers remaining, because who wants a great animal like that to go extinct, right? And what else? Yeah, ground aerial team, they have to sight them and sight poachers. So that's all positive stuff there. So basically, the aim of the game is to stay ahead of the poachers. So Tharin will explain to you why what we can do as the younger generation.
Boys. So as the younger generation, the only thing we could do about this is raising awareness about tuskers. Other than that, we cannot do anything. So that's what we can do to save the super tuskers.
Yeah, Mali, to say one thing. So lectures like this, where we raise awareness of issues like this, that's the main thing we can do, right? Because we are clearly not qualified yet to properly protect super tuskers like that. And I think we all can help raise awareness by having webinars, lectures like this. And that's one reason we wanted you all to participate in this lecture, because this is a big issue in Sri Lanka as well as the world. Other than that, Sehath, yeah, continue.
Yes, Mali, do
So, Mali,
the elephants, Sehath, 1 second. Someone has asked a good question. Do the elephants really hear well more than humans? Yeah, that's true, Mali. The humans have a frequency range of 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz,
Yeah,
but the elephants' frequency range is really high. It's like triple of humans, right? Triple the range of humans.
exactly. As Rithira mentioned, they can hear vibrations in their feet too. So yeah, Sehath,
So Malis, as Nethwin mentioned before, the main threat for tuskers is poaching. Now, Malis, the main reason poachers kill tuskers is because of poverty. Mali, they don't choose to kill tuskers, but they do it because that's how they feed their families. So if the country's economical status improves, automatically poaching will reduce.
Yes, Mali. So I think that gives some sympathy, somewhat sympathy to the poachers, because yeah, that's, I hope, Nikhil, that's one reason they should not be hung, in my opinion, in our opinion,
But
because
but
they are personally suffering, right? They have to feed their family somehow, because that's their country's state. That what they're doing is completely wrong, but they have to do it to feed their families. So what we can do is, by raising awareness and by acting responsibly, um, and when the country develops and all of those stuff happens, the economical state will go up. Obviously, then the job opportunities will increase. Then the poachers will find jobs other than turning to poaching. So yeah, hopefully that gives you all a better idea on why poachers do kill tuskers.
that's not the only reason, but it is also the main reason.
Yeah, exactly. Any questions regarding that? I hope you all understood properly what we were going to say. Again, Mali, please ask questions so that everyone can see. Other than that, let's move on, shall we? Once again, asking any questions. Sit through again.
Yeah, so in Africa, the Tusker is in Super Tusker is in Africa, right?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Like in which continent? I just really want to know.
Which continent? Mostly East African regions and this Sava conservation area, which
Okay, yeah.
to my knowledge is
So
East.
when they poach, when poachers poach, like what do they take from the elephant? Do they take the teeth or some other part of the body?
Ali, could you repeat that again?
Yes, when the poachers poach, do they remove the teeth and take the teeth or just take some other part of the body?
They mostly take the tusks, Mali, because that's ivory, right? Ivory is very valuable. They use that to make ornaments and stuff. Also,
Okay,
yeah, they save skin too. Let's move on.
And also, Mali, in Sri Lanka also, many farmers tend to kill elephants or wild boars because they are gonna harm the harvest of the farmers. So that's what they do.
Yeah, Mali. That's the main reason in Sri Lanka. Now, if you all noticed, when we mentioned the threats, for African elephants, we said poaching, and for Asian elephants, we said it's human and elephant conflicts. So the difference between that is, in Asia, like in Sri Lanka, for example, mostly villagers kill elephants because they destroy their crops, and like they are afraid, right? They are not educated enough to know that they shouldn't like kill the animal for that. So that's the human and elephant conflict. Compare that to poaching. Poaching is you just go and kill just for the sake of selling the tusks. That's the difference, just to clarify. Also, yeah.
Nadungamuira was an African tusker, right?
Indian tusk. Asian, yeah, Asian, Indian. They came to Sri Lanka from India. Yeah, let's move on to an interesting part. We thought we should include this.
There's one second, Nethwin. There's another question asking how many species of elephants do live in Africa. In Africa, there are 2 elephant species.
Yeah, that's the African bush elephant and the African and forest elephant.
Don't they say there's another species called the African white elephant? Since they found elephant recently in 2017.
Yeah, I also have heard this, right? Yeah, Mali, could you one of you all speak at one time?
My question was, isn't there another subspecies called the white elephant, since they found another a white elephant in 2017?
Malli, I've also heard of this. Okay,
They
but
say it's real, since I saw an article from the wildlife and wildlife protection something from Africa.
that is, hold on. Yeah, that is true, Malli. But can it be the albino elephant? Not sure. Malli, very good question. We'll we are not sure, but we'll search it up and let you all know. Okay. So
Okay, yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
So yeah, let's move on to this. I don't know. We found it a bit interesting to include in the presentation. So yeah, Tharin, go ahead.
Okay, so guys, when talking about the famous Tuskers in Sri Lanka, there's the Nadungamuwe Raja. You know the Asala Perera, right? The Candy Asala Perera. Guys,
Yeah, I think you all know. I mean,
Yeah, we know.
yeah.
yeah.
So
So Nadungamuwe Raja is the one who takes the Karanduwa.
yeah, and Nadungam Raja is also the largest tamed elephant in Sri Lanka, Tusker in Sri Lanka. Then we'll move on to an elephant named a Tusker named Mega. Environmentalists have done research on this elephant and found out that this elephant is very shy compared to other researched Tuskers. And unfortunately, Mega has died because of a Tusker fight. Because yeah, it really goes down in the jungle. Then we have Gajaba, Tharin.
Rajaba is the biggest wild tusker, Maldi. In Sri Lanka,
In
he
Sri
is the biggest wild tusker. And then there's Sume,
Yeah.
the tusker. He's actually a kind of like a celebrity tusker because he actually knows how to pose for pictures. As you all see,
Yeah, he is not shy at all. He is the opposite. These are all researched Tuskers in Sri Lanka. We are not messing around with y'all. This is actual research. Then we have Mahasen. Mahasen Tusker.
Excuse me, why Sumedha tusk is very thin?
Yeah, Mali, because Sumedha Tusker is actually still growing. He's still in adolescence, I think, and that's one reason why he's a bit famous. And yeah, and next we have Mahasen. Mahasen Mali is old, very old, the oldest I think from here. He was seen as a enigma, a legend or something like that. Because people in Min area used to treat him like that. But recently, Mahasen chose to stay in the wild other than show his face to the people. And then, yeah, we have Revata the dominant. Sorry.
yeah, Revata the dominant. The important fact about the Revata the dominant is he is the most aggressive wild tusker in Sri Lanka.
According to Sri Lankan environmental research.
Hey, he's not still. He's not live. He's not still alive, right?
Mali, out of all here, everyone's alive except Mega. Mega died this year. Another Tusker killed him. Sadly.
But I thought Revata died.
I don't think, Mali. But good question. We'll search that up also and let you all know.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Excuse me, අයියේ.
Ask. Yeah.
අයියේ අපේ රටේ තව ඉන්නවද ආසියානු අලින්ගේ උපවිශේෂයේ තව උපවිශේෂයක් විල්ලලියා කියලා?
විල්ලලියා මල්ලි දන්න තරමට ඉන්නවා මං හිතන විදියට ඒකත් හොඳ question එකක්. හොඳ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. අපි ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් හොයලා බලලා කියන්නද? අනිත් හොඳ අන්න ඒ වගේ අහන්න හරිද? Ask from all languages except Tamil. Tamil we are not that fluent. Yeah, other than that Yeah, let's move. Let's move on. So, Mali, we have a small video here. Last of the big tuskers or super tuskers. Please pay attention.
Africa is home to the world's largest terrestrial animal, elephant. But man is threatening the very existence of the species. Elephant with huge tusks are most prized by poachers. Chinese and Vietnamese dealers move ivory by the ton.
Customs can check less than 1% of the cargo passing through Hong Kong, and we have already seized 33 tons of ivory.
We are losing species. For what? For trinkets, for ivory bangles, for rubbish.
Anti-poaching teams find themselves in war zones, and elephant numbers keep dropping.
Over a 7-year period, Africa has lost 144,000 elephants. That's 30% decline, driven by the ivory poaching crisis.
Super tuskers, elephants with tusks estimated to weigh 100 pounds or more, are becoming almost impossible to find.
There were hundreds of 100-pounders 60, 80, 100 years ago. Why do we only have 20 to 30 now?
To find out, and to actually see some of the last big tuskers left on Earth, I travelled to Tembe and Kruger Park in South Africa, and Tsavo and Amboseli in Kenya. For the first time, scientists explain the crucial role super tuskers have in elephant genetics. And we meet some of the legends.
We've been looking for him all day, and Isilo came to us.
Gentle Isilo, aggressive Craig, the approachable Mastulel, elusive Camboyo, secretive Wantan, and the formidable Tim. We see the knife edge of real human-animal conflict.
They want to kill him.
And we try to help.
We are going into the sixth extinction because of us. What a legacy. We haven't even learnt their language, and we killed them.
Yeah, Mali, as you all saw there, very sad stuff. Hold on. Yeah, any questions?
Only another interesting point when talking about the white elephants. The white elephants, they appear white because of albinism. It's kind of a genetic formation, like a rare genetic formation. There is no specific species called white elephants. It's just a rare thing because of their genetics.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also Taruka Dias has asked which elephant died. Mali, are you referring to those famous tuskers in Sri Lankan slide? I'm guessing, according to that, Mega is the one who died, and another tusker has got into a fight with him, and Mega has unfortunately died this year. And let's move on to the.
What is the lifetime of tuskers?
The lifetime of the tuskers, Mali.
No scientists have still proven the exact correct age of a tusker, but they say they live around 50 to 70 years.
I think that's correct. We'll confirm that. Also, thank you. Very good. Good, valuable information for all of us, right? So thank you for sharing that with us.
Excuse me, Nethwin, the average lifetime of a tusker elephant is around 55 years.
Yeah.
Excuse me, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, albinism is the lack of the chemicals often called melanin, which makes our skin darker, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, Mali,
Have you all seen albinism peacocks, rats?
Even a human baby is albino, right?
Yeah. So it's like a genetic problem. Also, Mali, කවුද සිංහලෙන් ඇහුව විල්ලලියා ඉන්නවාද කියලා ඇහුවනේ. විල්ලලියා කියන සබ් ස්පීෂීස් එක තියෙනවා. විල්ලලියා කියලා ඉන්නවා ලංකාවේ.
හරියි. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you, Edward. Yeah, let's move on. Antima, last slide.
Aya, which is the biggest tusker elephant in the world?
According to records, there was an elephant named Sehath, a Kenyan elephant, Kenyan tusker. His tusk was so long it almost hit the ground. He died 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. That answers your question. Sehath,
Why is this slide include royal tuskers?
Yeah, because fun facts, Malu. Sehath.
Yeah.
There are some fun facts about tuskers. Pumba is actually a tusker worth dog. Sports teams use tuskers as their name or logo. Kochi Tuskers, Candy Tuskers, and the best of all, Royal Tuskers. Tuskers are used in traditional events such as Perera.
Yeah, those are a few fun / interesting facts we found.
Is tuskers and elephants two species or one species?
One species, but tusker elephants are one with tusks. Others without tusks are just known as elephants. Because people, that's how they say it, right? If they see a tusker, elephant with tusk, there's a tusker. If not, there's elephant. සිංහලෙන් ගත්තොත් අලියා යතයි වගේ. අලියා යතයි. That's the difference. And that concludes the presentation part.